Okay, so here we have like 21 from 10B, and then I guess this was 17 for 12B. So each of the 9 squares in a 3 by 3 grid is to be called red, blue, and yellow in a way that each red square shares an edge with at least one blue, and each blue square shares an edge with at least one yellow, and each yellow square shares an edge with at least one red square. Okay, the colorings can be obtained from one another by rotation and or reflections are considered the same. So how many different coloring are possible? So this kind of classic coloring problem, but it is actually a bit interesting because we have a lot of restriction. So it says each red square should share the edge with at least one blue. And then each blue should share with at least one yellow. And then each yellow will share with at least one red one. So like I can kind of write these, the requirements. So the red one has to share with the blue. So that should be next to each other. And then blue has to be next to the yellow. And then yellow has to be next to red. This is the requirement, right? So like to start with, I'm gonna actually start with the 3 by 3. But the thing is, you can start from the corner, but it's kind of a bit harder to do our cases. But if I start with the middle, it's going to be easier because like even if you do like rotation or reflection, it doesn't change the middle one. So which is why it is actually safer to start with the middle one. And then there's not really like priority on what color you choose for the middle, which means like if I want to start with the red one, I can actually count the number of ways to do with red in the middle and then just multiply it in by 3. So which means my final answer should be multiple of 3, and then all the choices are actually multiple of 3, which is kind of promising. So now we can just start with like our requirement, right? So we do have the red is going to be next to B, which is blue. But there are 4 sides next to R, but it doesn't really matter which one you actually start with. So like if I want to start with this is blue, or this one or that one is that one. So I can really rotate this and then like get it exactly the same position as this one. So which is why there's no really difference between putting here B or right there, as soon as you have is one red in the middle. Okay, now we just have two things, right? So then I just need the yellow, and then yellow should be next to blue. So which means I should have blue like yellow right here or right here. So I'm gonna choose this to be yellow because that is forcing to be either this yellow or this yellow. Okay, so then like this could be yellow, but I don't really know what other option that I have for this one. But B could be, yellow right here, or this is yellow. But this could be something else as well, because this B should have at least one yellow. This yellow is going to satisfy this condition. But, the yellow has to be sharing one edge with red. So the yellow doesn't share anything with that. So in terms of red, so which means this is actually be forced to be red as well. So far, these 4 actually predetermined whenever you start from the middle one, the 4 of these or 4 of these or 4 of these or 4 of these, like depends on how you start, will be determined. But let's continue. So we are now in red. So we need a blue next to. But when you look at this one, there is no blue next to this red, which means this must be blue. There is no other ways because we need at least one blue next to R. Okay, that is cool. And then after the blue, we need a yellow next to, but this blue doesn't have yellow, which means this has to be actually yellow as well. That is also forced, which is actually good because so far only we were able to get one fixed kind of coloring so far when you start with the R to be middle. So let's see if we can finish the rest easily as well, right? So, but the thing is after is actually not going to be the same as what we did have. So let me kind of copy paste this one, and then I will just add a few more just to kind of make sure I'm just adding more, but it doesn't have to be we're gonna using all these. Okay, so let's say this is what we have so far, right? So like now, as soon as we have the first 6 is kind of achieved, so let's think about the option that we have. So like one thing is, we can like look for the left side, but let me write the other ones as well. So we have yellow right here, and then yellow right here, and then this is like R. So, and then we have 2 blues. So these are blue. And then if I need another one, I will just do as well. But let's do these 2 first. And if I need more, I will just draw more ones up. So like when you consider this one, you can try to come up with this one. And then when you consider this one, you can come up with other options for this one. But the middle is like more restrictive, which means we kind of want to start with the middle guy because that will affect the other 2. So which is why we can just go with this. Like let's think about the middle guy is like R. So far, all these 6 actually satisfy the condition. So which means there's no really restriction on these 3. But when you consider the other one, but let's see what we can have on the other side as well, which is the left side. So the R could be next to R because we need at least one blue to next R. But when this happens, we need a blue right here or a blue right here. So like it doesn't probably matter, but let's start with the bottom is blue. Okay, I'm gonna call this like say R as well. So same as this condition to see if we have more option. So like if this is blue, which is kind of like R next to be blue, so R is next to blue, and then blue has to be next to Y, so that means these are also good. And then that is good. So the top one, R needs to be B, and then this R has B already, so which means this could be like something else because but B cannot be here because we need B to share a edge with Y, which if I say this is like B, then there should be Y, which is not possible. So, but if I want to say this is like maybe B as well, okay, so this B should share with Y, which doesn't work, so that is not going to work out with B. But if I want to choose that to be R, it is going to be fine because if I want to choose the R is next to B, so this R is good. R is next to R, that's also fine. So this R shares with B, which is also good. So far, this is good. This is one way of doing this, right? So another thing we can do, let's say this is still B. as the same as this one. Let's see if we can get something else right here. So like maybe this one might be Y as well, because the R is next to B, so this condition is satisfied. And then the B has to be next to Y. This is already given. But if I want to choose this to be also like yellow, and then that will be okay as well, because if I choose this is yellow, so yellow and the red is next to each other, so the yellow is sharing one with red, so that is good. And then the every other condition is already satisfied, so which means we actually two ways to finish this one. And what I mean by that, like when we complete the first six right here, and then when you put the R's in the middle, there are two ways to finish, like B, the Y, or RB. So that'll be two different ways. But here's the thing, like if the middle guy is not R, so let's finish the others one again. So I'll say this was yellow, and then this was yellow, and then this is blue. Again, we are taking the first six because this was already fixed. So I should have this is gonna be B, this is B, and then what else do we have? So this was R, and then this is R, and then this is yellow, and then this is yellow. So now we are gonna think about this being to be, let's say, yellow. So if I want to choose this is yellow, so then since all these six was already good to go, so we need to think about the top and bottom of this yellow. But if I do have yellow right here, so like I can choose another yellow next to each other. If I do this, like it doesn't really work. Let's see, because this yellow is not next to R, so we need a R next to that yellow. So far, it doesn't look like it's working. So then, what else we can have? Like maybe we can have like yellow here. So I'm gonna choose but if I want to choose yellow at the top instead, so let me choose this one. Then yellow has to be next to R, but this yellow is not next to R, so which means the yellow right here is actually not working. So then I'm gonna say we need R, so maybe I can choose like R here. So if I choose this is like R, actually I should choose my coloring, but so let's say this is R, and R is next to B, which is good. That's the condition. And then Y is next to R, which is also good. So far, like that does look like working. What else do we have for the bottom one? Maybe we can have like blue for the bottom one, right? So we have, let's try that one. So if I have, so I'm gonna choose this is R. And then if I want to have the blue for the bottom one, because we need the, like this yellow should be next to R. That's R is the condition satisfied. And then blue is next to Y, so that's also working. So that is gonna be one of the ways to finish up, right? So which means in the middle, if there is like Y, then this is one way to finish. But do I have any other ways? Like let's think about that. So like I could maybe try two Y's, like let's say this is Y. If I choose this is Y, and maybe I will choose this is Y as well. So the Y should have at least next to be R, right? So but in that case, the Y is not next to R, so this Y doesn't have any R next to, so which is why it doesn't work. If this is the Y, it doesn't work either, so I really cannot have any like two Ys like that. Okay, what else do I have? So the Ys are kind of like we did one Ys right here, red and blue, but can we have blue and red? So let's think about that option. So if I have red here and then blue here, so the blue has to be next to Y, which blue is next to Y, that's good. This blue has at least one next to Y, and then this R is next to B, so this R doesn't have B, so that means this condition actually doesn't work. So which means meaning that the middle when this is like Y, there's only this option, but maybe we can choose this is blue, and then this is also blue. So what is this gonna work on? I will say yes, because B is next to Y, so these two are good. Then B is next to Y, that's also good. And then Y is next to R, so this Y is next to R, so there was no condition. That will be eliminated, so that is actually gonna work out. Okay, the last case, for the middle guy, so imagine like we have the cases where, let me write those back. So we had the condition of this is B, and then this is B again. And then this was like R, and then this was yellow, and then this was yellow, right? And then we tried the middle one to be red, and then we got two different cases. And then if the middle guy is yellow, and then we got two different cases as well. So if the middle guy is blue, is it possible? So like if this is blue, blue has to be at least one Y next to, so which means this has to be Y or this has to be Y. So let's say this is Y, and then if this is yellow, then I should have a R next to, but there's no R, which means this cannot be yellow. And if I have yellow right here, right, then the yellow should be R next to the R, but that doesn't work for yellow either. So if this is blue, then there's no place for yellow. So then if I want to choose, like, let's say this is R, and then this is R, is it okay? So like R is next to B, that's good. R is next to B is good. But this B has to be next to Y, but there's no Y next to this B. So in this condition, there's no way to finish with B. So I will say nothing we can do with B. So far, we just consider the first six, like any way that you start are fixed. As soon as you did the first six, then you just have 3 more spots to finish up. And then for that 3 more spot left, I just start with the middle guy to be considered first. And then each one of those like different colors, I try different ways of doing that. So and then with R, we got 2 different ways. With yellow, we got 2 different ways. So in that case, we have a total of 4 ways to finish when you start with the middle to be R. But if the middle is not R, let's say blue, you have like 4 ways to finish. If this middle is like yellow, you have another 4. So in total, we have 12 ways to finish this one. So it was actually quite challenging problem, to be honest. And I will say this is kind of a good reminder for remembering the Burnside's lemma, but I think we didn't really use that. So it's good to take a look at that and maybe a little bit more reading on Burnside lemmas, I guess that would be helpful. But anyway, so I'll see you in the next video.